Oops! Grass! Grass! Oh! Hi there! Something a little different this time. I got this really neat little DLG called the Elf. This sweet little guy, I was lucky to find it online for a good price, and I was really excited to go fly it. If you're not familiar with the Elf, this is a hand launch glider or discus launch glider, and it's beautiful. It's got carbon fiber everywhere. It's very lightweight. This thing has a 39-inch span, and I think it weighs slightly more than fly flatulence. And believe it or not, the thing has like a 2.5 ounce per square foot wing loading. I mean, this thing's really light, but really beautiful. Things are so tight in the fuselage that I'm only using a single cell LiPo and a couple of Diamond D47 servos. What the nice thing about this high-tech setup in the servos is that it works on voltages as low as 3.6 volts. So I'm pretty good with just a single cell, amazingly. And the high-tech is built-in telemetry, so I actually know when the voltage starts getting too low. Now, if you've seen early versions of my channel's opening intro, you know that my previous DLG didn't end so well. Yeah, mistakes were made. Unfortunately, I also had some issues with this one as well. The Elf, well, more mistakes were made. But I fixed it all up and we're good to go now. So that said, let's go give it a shot, huh? All right, let's get this show on the road. Power up the receiver. Hey, no smoke this time. And a quick control check. Ooh, just look at that full flying stab. Our flying time was a bit late for high thermal activity, but it was relatively calm. For the very first flight, it was a simple hand toss to check the trims and balance. Hey, that looks good so far.
Yeah, it's a discus launch glider.
So I decided next to give it a light flick into the air using the wingtip finger grips. Convinced the trims and control throws were satisfactory, it was time to throw it like I mean it. A quick 360 turn, and up she went with a nice steep climb. Even Jeff the cameraman was impressed.
That was a pretty impressive launch, Fitz.
I have to say that I immediately fell in love with the Elf's performance. Yeah, look at this thing. It's really nice. Once the controls are set up, just floats in the breeze. Tiniest little lift. You can see the wings move. Quick response to roll and elevator. You can see tiny little micro bursts of lift. It just stays. I swear this thing's made out of helium with a slight mix of hydrogen. Hopefully it's not combustible. Never had a hand launch glider fly this well.
It has as much weight as your bad jokes.
Amazingly, I got over a minute flight without really knowing what I was doing. Encouraged by that flight, I was eager to throw her back into the air. I found the Elf to be quite responsive with very good stall characteristics. I had no fear of jerking it around when I needed to, and it has a very small turning radius, which is very useful for working small thermals near the ground. Of course, on landing, I kind of had to show off a little bit. Ah! Thank you. Though things didn't always work out as planned. Oh no! Oops! Grass! Grass! Oh! Sometimes my launches were a bit off. Ah! Like anything, it just takes practice, and practice, and practice, and more practice. But no matter how good or bad you launch, you will be rewarded with a fun and easy to fly little plane. Flying a DLG is fun, but really working the thermals can be a challenge so close to the ground. You have to really watch the plane and be aware of the environment. I don't claim to be a glider expert. In fact, I'm not really all that great at it, but the Elf does make it fun to learn. The Elf is a flying work of art that is great for chasing small thermals on not too windy days, or just whimsically throwing it around the sky. A highly portable pocket glider that is great for tipping your toes into the world of discus launch gliders. Well, I have to say, this little Elf is fantastic. It's a really nice little flying little plane. I've never had a hand-launched glider flew this well. You can see it just stays up, just a little bit of lift, and it just stays right up there. Now, I freely admit I'm probably pretty terrible at hand launches, but just after a few tosses, I was able to get some really good high throws. Just let it zoom up, a little bump over the top to level it out, and it's off you go. It's a little breezy today, but I think it handled the wind pretty well. I'm still able to stay up aloft for a few minutes and have a good time with it. And as you can see, it's also a bit aerobatic, small, and to fit in the car. I really like it. I think, the price is a little high, it seems at first, but for the workmanship and the build quality and of course very simply the flight quality of this thing, I think it's worth every penny. I'm really amazed, and I'm going to enjoy this thing for quite some time. And well, that's it. I'll see you next time.
Jim is excitement, ooh, Jim is adventure, ooh, glamour and glitter, fashion.
Fitz has a new plane for breakfast.
And then lunch and dinner, right?